Welcome back to Outdoors Radio. Dan Small here with Mr. Hardwater Jeff Kelman. Joining us now is Steve Mortensen. He is host of Anglin Adventures, a new TV show we're going to ask him about, and he's owner also of a guide service by the same name, coincidentally called Anglin Adventures Guide Service. Steve, that was pretty clever of you.
Yeah, it just kind of came to me one night.
Yeah, well, it's all about branding in this business, and if your TV show and your guide service and the lettering on your truck all read the same, people are going to make the connection and know who you are. So
yep.
You're from Oshkosh, and you've been guiding for quite a few years, I guess, haven't you?
Yeah, I kind of just fell into it from my tournament career, and people got excited when they see me fish, and it kind of turned into a guide service.
Mm-hmm. And I had a chance to fish with you back in July. Yep. And I know I talked about that on the show. And, in fact, in the next issue of Wisconsin Outdoor News, which will be out, I believe, next week, I've kind of lost track, there's a story about our trip and another trip I did where we tried for bass and ended up catching white bass, and they actually saved the day. And I got to say, that was one of the most exciting fishing trips I've had in many years, as you may remember. It was crazy. We just had an absolute bonanza.
Yeah, I'm glad the fish were definitely on that day.
Yeah, it wasn't what we were after, but it worked. And
yeah, absolutely.
Do you ever target white bass intentionally, or do you just kind of...
Usually not that time of year. More like in the fall, like this time of year right now, is when they really start schooling up out on Winnebago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, well, and let's talk about that a little bit. So if somebody wanted to catch these white bass, I mean, these were nice fish, 16 inches, I would say they averaged.
Yep,
and that's, I don't know, what, a couple pounds. It's a good-sized fish. How do you do it?
Basically, the first thing is that if you can really pick the best conditions, you'd want a glass calm day when there's no wind, bright, sunny day. The reason is because like when we were out there, I showed you got to look for the seagulls. And when you find the seagulls, because the seagulls can find the bait fish a lot better on a glass calm day. Mm-hmm. So once you find the seagull schooling, because you got the bait fish beneath it, and the white bass are right beneath those.
Yeah, and in fact, that's what I wrote about. We actually videoed the gulls diving on the bait fish that the white bass were driving up to the surface. Jeff, have you seen that on Winnebago or other waters where you've been?
I have seen similar activity between gulls. I mean, pelicans as well.
Sure.
Large groups of pelicans in one area, and they all work together, and sometimes could be that telltale out on the lake.
Oh, it was like, telltale's a good word. It was like, here's the party, and we went over there and cast into that boiling water. I mean, it looked like boiling water, and we got footage of dozens of white bass coming up, and then the shad. They turned out to be gizzard shad, right?
Correct. Yes, that's what they were. Yep.
Yeah, they were boiling, and we cast in there, and you had 2 or 3 hits if you didn't hook up the first time on each cast.
Yeah, and it's you say they're gizzard shad, so they're I would say a larger shad species.
Is that right? Okay, but these are little ones.
Okay, all right.
A couple inches, or at least we saw one dead one, right, that day.
Correct. Yep.
I don't know how big the fish were, but
yeah. Well, you're gonna have some better fish around then.
Yeah, and man, those white bass were good size. Now, is that typical of the white bass there, Steve?
Well, it can be, but the reason we were catching bigger ones, now, if you remember what we were using for bait, we weren't using your typical white bass bait. We were using, largemouth and smallmouth spinner baits, if you remember that.
Yes, I remember it clearly, yeah.
Yeah.
So
because of that, that's why we caught some of the bigger fish that we caught, because the little fish just couldn't get that hook in their mouth. By eliminating that small hook, that's why we got those bigger white bass that day.
Okay, so 2 bumps might be smaller fish, and then the hookup was the bigger one.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, your daughter, Mercedes, a couple, was it last year she caught a world record white bass?
Yes, we caught it. We were actually out filming. I got it all on video, and she was so excited. She said she had a really big one on, and I'm videotaping, and all of a sudden I had to put the camera down because we measured it, and I got home and checked the Hall of Fame record book, and sure enough, she broke the catch and release world record for white bass.
Cool. Well, I did catch and fillet on all those, so there was no record involved, but they were good eating, and that's not something that most people target. They like perch, they like walleyes, they catch white bass in the spring, but summer and fall white bass. They were good.
I don't mind white bass in the wintertime.
Yeah.
There's just, all fish kind of have a different flavor, different taste, different texture in the wintertime, and I don't mind them in the winter. I'll take them home with some perch.
Well, these were summer bass, and
Yeah.
I ate them. Maybe I just don't eat enough fish. I don't know. But anyway, so other fishing action. You're a bass fisherman, a tournament pro, and guide for bass. How's the bass action lately?
Actually, right now, the bass fishing has been actually phenomenal for the last 3 or 4 weeks, at least on the Winnebago system. I've been fishing some other lakes, too, around the state, and pretty much wherever we've been going, they're starting to school up everywhere we're going. No matter what county we're in, we're catching a lot of fish.
Mm-hmm. Wow, okay. And what other lakes do you fish?
I fish a lot of lakes over in Waushara County, Wapaka County. We made a trip all the way up to Boulder Junction area for some big, giant smallmouth bass. There's a catch and release lake up there. Your average smallmouth is between 20 and 22, 23 inches.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, what are you doing to catch the smallmouths?
We were just dragging a soft plastic tube, just rigged with an exposed hook, just dragging that on the bottom. And right now they're really shallow. They're in about 2 feet of water right now, so they're real easy to find. Wow,
great. Well, tell us about your show, Anglin Adventures. What's it about? Where is it going to air and when?
Yeah, basically it's just a local-based Wisconsin fishing show, and it's all about just trying to get more people into the outdoors, and we're going to try to keep it very time-sensitive. So if we go out and film it, say, today, we'll air it that following weekend so people can go out and do what we just did, and we're going to actually tell the people what lakes we're on, so they can tune in and see that. And it airs actually on the CW-TV station starting in November on the very first Saturday, and it's every Saturday after at 12:30.
All right. Well, Steve, thanks so much for talking with us, and I'm glad I got a chance to get out with you. And we'll talk to you again sometime. I want to talk about that Fishgate 100 fish weighing system. We'll maybe get John Winkler on, too, because that was something else that we featured there. But we'll save that for another interview and let people try to figure that out, maybe find it online. So how do people find you online?
Very simply, just go to anglinadventures.com.
All right. Well, Steve, thanks so much. Good luck with your new show, and we'll be in touch.
Yep, thanks, Dan.
You bet. Steve Mortensen, host of Anglin Adventures TV. More Outdoors Radio right after this.
Listen to More Outdoors Radio online at dansmalloutdoors.com.